someone with ataxia, I would recommend that you have someone helping you, just because you don't know how, when they're upright, will look, because the supine to sit transfer will be probably a standby assist. Okay, they won't be able to sit up on their own. It is when they stand up that everything changes. Okay, or at least this is what I've seen in some of my patients. And so patients with cerebellar disease, or I want to emphasize cerebellar strokes, mostly, they will be contact guard, standby. Okay, if we're talking more like a spinal cerebellar ataxia, we're thinking something different. But for a cerebellar stroke, cerebellar tumors, in some cases, they will be able to transfer easily. It is when they stand up that everything changes, and now you might need more help. Okay, so I would get someone with me, so the tech or the OT, to come with me, put the belt, and then you begin guarding. Right, go ahead and stand up, Lauren. And what we're gonna do, we're actually going to face that way. Okay, and if they can start the tandem gait without holding, but I always like to have them start holding onto a surface and then let go if they feel confident. Okay, just for safety, because if they lose their balance, and usually, like, let's say if you're working at a rehab or inpatient acute care, usually they have like wall rails, so you can be there just for that extra safety, right? But I like to start close to a wall where they can begin putting themselves on tandem and holding, okay, and then they can let go. Okay, so Lauren, you're gonna walk heel to toe, put yourself right there, okay, on heel to toe pattern, and if you feel okay, you can let go of that table, okay? And then here, go ahead and walk maybe 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Of course, this is easy for her, okay? Someone with ataxia will have a very hard time doing this test, okay? This is not an outcome measure, this is a test, okay, from like tests and measures. This is a test, okay, because we don't have, this is not an outcome. This particular test might be included in outcome measures, okay? So tandem gait or even tandem stance could be a way to assess their balance, but several articles that I've read put tandem gait as a gold standard to kind of like expose that gait ataxia, okay? So thank you. So easy, I mean, you probably have done tandem gait at some point, whether for fun or here in school, but tandem gait is a really good tool to have when you're assessing their mobility in standing, okay? Now there are 2 outcome measures to be used with patients with ataxia. One is, it's called the International Cooperative Ataxia Rating Scale, or the ICARS. This one is a much longer test, okay? And then we have the most commonly used by PTs. I've used the SARA quite a lot of times in inpatient rehab, where I have more time with the patients. So it's called a Scale for the Assessment and Rating of Ataxia. This is called a SARA. I believe it's out of 40 points. So the higher the points, the worse the ataxia. And the SARA, what I like about the SARA is that it has finger to nose test, zygokinesia, gait, you'll see it. And then you see that you can even use your typical outcome measures with these people. The most common one to assess their balance outcome measure is the Berg balance. Okay, Berg balance outcome measure. Here we have a static balance outcome measure, and we have a dynamic balance outcome measure. We have some simpler, like tug test or 10-meter walk test, but usually the Berg balance is always a safe one to try. If they're in inpatient rehab, you have more time. Outpatient, this one is a very good one. SARA and Berg are the perfect combo for these patients if you're seeing them in outpatient or in inpatient rehab. I'll post this for you guys. I see you guys taking photos. I'll post this